All right, chat. So this is coming back here to introduce my good friend FoxyJira, who's going to be running Death's Door. Take it away.
What's up, everybody? As Sin said, I'm FoxyJira. I speedrun this game called Death's Door. It's kind of a cool little indie title. With me, I have Bullets, who is also another runner of this game. We're going to be doing any % current patch today for you. Not much else to say. I think we're going to be talking a lot as we get in. But basically, this game is another made by. It's the second actual full game title made by Acid Nerve, who made Titan Souls. Pretty cool little indie title. That you have anything to say, Bullets?
Nope, I think you covered pretty much everything. Really cool run, a lot of sequence breaks and different skips we can do with it, so get a lot out of it, and definitely worth playing the game. It doesn't really spoil the game too much for you in terms of exploring and all the fun stuff for it, so
yeah,
definitely if this looks fun, then take it for a swing.
Yeah, we go really fast, and we're going to be talking a lot here for only an hour, basically. So yeah, ready to count down whenever you're ready, Sin.
I'm ready when you are.
All right, we'll start in a count of 3 on go. So 3, 2, 1, go. Alrighty. So like I said, game made by Acid Nerve. It's like an action RPG. Similar to, I would say Hollow Knight is probably, not Hollow Knight, Hyper Light Drifter is probably its closest neighbor in terms of gameplay. Visually, definitely very different, but obviously what you're gonna get when you're actually playing the game, very similar to that. One thing we didn't plug actually is there is an incentive for me to do the boss fights of the game with the worst weapon in the game. We don't have boss fights for a while, so if you want to plug that, I think it's only $20 for the incentive actually. So watch me struggle and hate myself at doing boss fights. But feel free to donate towards that. So I guess a quick introduction to the game. We are a crow. Crows are sort of like reapers in this lore. Basically, they're actually out to reap things and basically be death. So we have an assignment from one crow, who is Chandler the Handler, who tells us that we are going to be getting a giant soul, which is this soul here. We do a little skip there just by shooting through the wall, and don't have to do the tutorial area, and we do the demonic forest spirit. So we got to get this giant soul. We learn that basically while we're on assignment, we age. So crows are immortal while they're not on assignment, and once we return this soul after beating the boss, we'll go back and go through all the stuff. Yo, what's up, rookie? We'll beat the boss, we get this giant soul, and we're going to go back and become immortal again, wait for our next assignment. But a door opens, and we get bonked on the head by some random crow guy that's really, who knows who they are. So we have our little, sacrifice circle here with the forest spirits, and hey, we're going to go chase down this dude who stole our soul. So yeah. This next little section basically is just me running through a bunch of stuff, showing us kind of how some more of the tutorial stuff works with these gates, hitting them, and we see the crow right here kind of waltzing around. We're not going to take that way. We're going to go way faster. So while I do this, I'm going to go grab some souls. I don't know if you want to explain some things here, Bullets.
So this is kind of the main hub area of the game. This is where we'll be going to each of the different areas, different boss fights we'll be doing. But we won't be doing them quite as you would normally be expected to. These souls, like Foxy was talking about, help us with improving our stats, which helps a lot for the boss fights, especially if we have to use the umbrella, which is the weapon that Foxy was talking about earlier. For the $20 incentive, it basically halves our damage of our sword, which is our main weapon we use. Earlier on, we will be using bow and arrow, or the arrow spell that we have. Because at the start it does the same damage as our sword, but as we get upgrades for our sword, it obviously will get out DPS, so we rely on our sword pretty much primarily from that point on. But for now, it's a good addition for it. You'll see we kind of weave in arrow shots whenever the boss is kind of in a semi-stationary place or we're safe to spam them, because if you get a good rhythm with it, you can spam them fairly quickly.
Yeah, it takes a while to charge up the bow shot, but if you get, like Bullet said, if you get a good rhythm, you can really hammer out damage. So what you'll be seeing me do a lot is I'll be quitting out and resetting quite a bit, because that just resets checkpoints. We need this little bat here, which is a very tedious enemy, to say the least. And it's just going to lift us over this door. So we picked up a key earlier, which you're supposed to use past an enemy earlier that I ran up. But we're not going to do that. It's very slow. But yeah, we just kind of roll on the bat. He lifts us over the door, and we get our second boss right here, who is the Guardian of the Door, which I like to think of like Alexander from the Final Fantasy games. There's a cool no-clip, and I can hit immediately, wow. There's a cool no-clip documentary on Death's Door where the devs talk about how like they really didn't even plan on having this boss in the game initially, but like a graphic designer came up with it, and they're like, oh, that's pretty cool. And they said they thought of it as something else. But here we go. Laser beam attacks you can just roll through, which is pretty great. It cancels out the animation immediately. So I'll be doing. There's only a couple bosses that do that, and I'm gonna take this a little bit safe here than I normally would, but that's fine. There we go, and that's the boss done. So really quick boss, really fun boss, honestly. Like honestly, a lot of the bosses in this game are very like unique and fun in their own right, of how like the puzzle aspect introduces itself into it. This game is very much inspired like by Souls titles, but also at the same time Zelda. With the bow, like you have a bow and arrow, it's magic, haha. One thing you'll notice also is that the bow spell, right up below my health, you can see that I have 4 little health bars, and that we're going to be keeping meticulous track of, obviously. And then I have 4 slots for magic as well. And every time I hit an enemy, that's going to add 1 back to my spell slots. So we're going to go through here, and we're actually going to do a pretty quick sequence break. To get to like the 3rd area of the game, because we're gonna be getting, and that's not good. All right.
Normally, you would be getting the fire spell, which allows you to light this brazier here, and then it will give you this ladder. We didn't get to see any of that because we shot it from off screen, but
yeah.
You can set your arrows on fire and get into here a lot earlier than you would be expected to. So.
Yep. So yeah, so now we're in the 3rd area of the game. Sadly, we don't get to hear what I think is the best music in the game. I really enjoy like shanty style music, oddly enough. So this is going to be our first like major, like this is going to be basically the glitch that we're going to be using, and this is what I was worried about. But here we go. Our first major glitch of the game that we're going to be using basically everywhere is called an arc or an air roll cancel. Basically, by doing a strong attack and then queuing up a roll and then another attack, we are able to roll through everything, and not through everything. We're able to roll over like short distances basically, and I accidentally rolled off there. That's totally fine. And we're going to be actually getting. This is where it kind of just picks up a lot. So what I'm trying to do here is basically insta-kill this boss by having him go off, and oh no, I actually got hit. That sucks. And I'm lying to you. No, actually, I'm planning that. I debate a lot in this run because it's just constantly just like I'm dying on purpose all the time. So this boss is really easy to skip, basically. Just roll out of the way and it's totally fine. But by killing him that extra time, it's a really quick way for me to get extra souls that I'll be spending later, so I just don't have to waste time running around to grab soul orbs.
Yeah, the reason the boss falls off the edge there is because it's trying, whenever you like queue up a spell or something like that, it tries to jump onto you to attack you to stop you from doing that. So it's like kind of pretty aggressive AI.
Yeah.
But if we stand right next to the edge, it kind of has them just fall off and insta die once they hit the bottom.
Yeah, the death plane. Yeah.
Yeah.
So pretty quick way. So what actually happened right there? So I did an arc. I'm supposed to have basically the last spell in the game that you unlock to be able to access that area. But by doing an arc, we're able to just get over, unlock the lever, go back over, and then get basically the upgrade to the last spell in the game, which is the hook shot. Again, Zelda reference. And from there, we now have the upgraded hookshot spell. You can see again, next to my health, there's like a diamond shape that shows all the spells I have equipped. Up top is the bow, and I have it highlighted on the bottom that there's something there, but it doesn't show you what it is, and so that's the upgraded hookshot spell. If I switch off of the hookshot spell, it actually goes away forever, and I can't finish the run. I would have to reset. Oh wow, that was fast. Oh, wow, that was so lucky, too. I usually don't go through... So you can hookshot through cobwebs, specifically, into walls. And so we don't have to go through an elevator there to go down. We just kind of fall into the abyss until we hit the next plane. And I usually don't get that immediately. So, yeah, that was pretty I fully expected to hit a death point there. But yeah, so the coolest thing though is that I showed earlier that like you can light up your spells basically like a fire arrow and those sorts of things through these braziers. And the nice thing is that would actually break the run if we didn't do this. You can actually do the same thing with your bow. So that's pretty cool. We're just going to walk through this area. I'm going to grab some souls, and then we're going to skip one of the NPCs of the game, which is actually my favorite NPC. His name's Pothead, a direct reference to what I would consider basically a kid reference to the Katarina Knights from the Souls games. Even it makes the same sort of like sounds, and it makes me sad honestly because when you first meet him, he does that, and like I just instinctively do it back to him whenever he does it. He goes oh, and I just like oh hello.
Yeah, this is actually one of the newer skips in the run. There's a lot of folks that are actually fairly active and very good at finding these sorts of things and putting this together. That we use the plant pot that's there that normally you would put a life seed into, which allows you to heal when you interact with it. But we can use it by wedging yourself in that corner to pop up onto it and avoid the trigger for that cutscene. We're actually going to come back that direction in just a second, but we still won't hit the trigger for the cutscene. So look at it, see Pothead there just standing there, and we just like kind of roll by him as we go,
waiting for us to roll through. So we
do get to see him a little bit, but we don't get his introduction. So he just acts like he already knows us. We're supposed to have multiple little cutscenes with him actually during this entire estate section. There's only one that we can't really skip before we get into the ceramic manor. But this is the area you would normally go to first out of the three. This is the only thing we're kind of messing with progression-wise right now is that we're using the hook shot to like circumvent a lot of the normal fights that you would do, and then that would unlock the gates to get through. By using the hook shot, which you never would have normally going through the estate the first time. It's supposed to be something you come back and do later after you've already completed it. We're able to circumvent a lot. So that's the life seed we were talking about there.
Yep.
That Foxy just picked up.
And I just realized I didn't share my Discord for you, Bullets. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I completely forgot.
See the future.
I can see it. I know what's going to happen. It's like you speed run this game. It's crazy. But yeah, so we're just kind of going through here. Like this is pretty like normal like area bits. We're not.
I can explain the archer bit that's going to happen here since we've not done that yet.
Yeah, sure.
Archers, when they use their bow, have a bit of a animation that's really useful for us because they slowly lift their bow up and then shoot. So we can use that animation if we get them in the corner, and our hook shot's really good for doing that since it barely does any damage. They'll lift us up onto this gate, onto this wall here, as long as you're kind of wedged in the right way. It can be a little bit finicky. Sometimes it doesn't like to cooperate, but for the most part, it doesn't take too long to get over there. And that's going to give us the daggers, which is a very, very important weapon for the run. Not so much for damage or anything, because we usually use the sword for fights.
Oh, there you go.
But it's more for zoomies, which we'll be seeing very soon.
Yeah. The daggers basically break the game because the arcs that we do, the daggers have the best acceleration and also help like increase the length of your roll, I think, a little bit. And so by using them, we're able to increase the distance that we're actually going to be doing arcs with, and really just circumvent so many like little fights. A lot of this game is a lot of like arena-based fights where you kind of get locked in an area, have to kill a bunch of enemies. It's really fun. It's very unique. All the different trying to do a zoomie here, and not that great of a deal. So this is Darwin. He's kind of like the upgrade person. Emerald Herald DS2, the Bonfire in DS1, Firekeeper in DS3, that sort of thing. But yeah, we'll be stopping by him later. So what we're actually going to do now is go get the actual hookshot spell, because we do need to use other spells in the game to progress. There are like the actual limitations of, I guess checkpoints that make sure that you're getting the correct stuff and actually going through, the correct progression at the end of the day to beat the game. But as we unlock the hookshot early, we need to actually, switch off from that. And oops, I rolled off. That's an accident. Sorry, we're gonna go get the actual hookshot spell so we can switch off and use the flame spell that we'll get later. Blah blah blah. So this is an Avarice. It's a direct reference to Titan Souls, which is a boss, at least Avarice was a boss in Titan Souls. And this is kind of another arena where we'd actually unlock the spells themselves. So I'm going to kill all these enemies off, and my controller disconnected. What's happening? This isn't good. And I debated you again. Haha. Sorry, it's hard to, like, I guess, like, act like I'm dying all the time on accident when I just do it so often.
I was about to jump in. I'm like, oh no, you were supposed to roll off there. It's fine. I'm like, oh wait.
Yeah. So basically, we die there on purpose because through these doors that you're supposed to unlock by doing more arena fights, which kind of give you the lore and background of the world, you kind of are able to quit out, and it drops you off in front of the door itself. So by quitting out, we end up in the third section of the game, even farther past the upgraded hookshot spell. So we're skipping an entire area to unlock this door. And then now that this is here, we're actually going to go back and kill, really this time do the Avarice fight and unlock the true hookshot spell. So, and then from there on, that's where we really just break the game, because we're going to be doing everything in reverse order, simply because the bosses themselves, it's a weird quirk, but the bosses have less health as they go on. So the first boss of the game has the most, I think I had like 120 HP, whereas the third boss of the game only has 60. Now, their difficulty does range in general. Like, the first boss is pretty... It's easy to learn their movesets and, like, you know, what you're supposed to do with all of them. The third boss is just very finicky and quirky and will catch you a lot of times. So, yeah. So now we're actually going to do the fight. Like I said, I guess, Bullets, if there's anything else that we've missed while I just focus on this fight, feel free to rattle things off.
Sure. First, I'll just clarify zoomies for folks in case there wasn't... We didn't say too much about it, but pretty much we're pausing as we're doing the charge attack animation and unpausing after re-equipping the weapon, and that locks you into the velocity you were going during that charge attack, which is why we're able to go that fast. The only downside is that you are stuck going that exact angle, so the angle that you do the charge attack at is really important. So that's how we're able to go really quickly. And the dagger isn't the only weapon that can do it, but it's the weapon that has the fast acceleration for its charge attack. So.
Oh man, this is bad. I got clipped real hard by that boomerang. I might die here, which is fine.
Boomerang enemies here will throw their... If you're too far away, they'll throw their boomerang, and then they will jump and chase after, or they'll wait for the boomerang to come back.
I can't see. The worst part about these fights is that, like, so the keyhole is your source of light, which is a cool, like, thing. But at the same time, I'm dead. Oh, I'm not dead. Wow. Okay. But if you aren't careful, like, if I run off into this abyss, like, I just can't see anything.
Yeah, sometimes enemies will hide out there too. Like, not intentionally, but like... We're able to use the projectiles that the enemies are shooting at us to hit other enemies, because it does increase damage when you use them that way. So,
oh yeah, that's such a neat little mechanic, honestly.
Yeah, you get rewarded for not running away from the projectiles, but trying to redirect them towards enemies. So, nice. It's the final enemy. The final enemies of the Avarice fights, honestly, are usually kind of easier than, like, the fight itself. Yeah. Because usually what the hardest parts are, like, too many things going on at once, but when it's one big dude, like, slowly bonking one side together, it's a lot more manageable. So,
yeah, it really is. But yeah, that's the Avarice fight. I somehow didn't die there. Like, that early section was terrible. Like, the fire wizard spawned in a really bad spot, and I couldn't hookshot over to him. So that was kind of bad. So this is some, like, ancient crow that's giving us the hookshot upgrade, blah, blah, blah. Also, that last enemy, I like to point out that it looks like Smo from Dark Souls 1, because, you know, again, more Dark Souls references, because I played those games and I like them. But yeah, so we're going to do, I'm not going to try and debate you another time. We're going to force kill ourselves here, or a tactical death, is the best way to say it, to zip ourselves back, and then we're going to go do another Avarice fight, which this is like the worst skip in the game, by the way. I had a mild panic attack earlier because I 100% forgot exactly how to, and sometimes zoomies are really hard to pull off because there is a certain timing to it. Yeah. But yeah. So, sorry. As I focus here,
I can explain some of the stuff with Avarice 1 if you'd like, so you can focus a bit.
That would be amazing.
All right, so Avarice 1. So we just did Avarice 3. This is Avarice 1. This is the first one you're supposed to do. After you get a certain distance into the ceramic manor, it opens the door and you're able to get the fire spell. So we're going the opposite direction through it, and you can use various lineups with the textures or different props, both using your mouse and keyboard and your controller to get yourself in position. It gets you on this railing here, and you're able to charge attack to get over it, which is awesome and great. The unfortunate thing is there is a second gate where you have to do a very similar setup for, but since you're in a different area, you don't have the same visual lineups as before. Like you have to. We have a whole entire new set of visual lineups. It's pretty precise. It used to be a little bit more forgiving. Since this is current patch, there was a small update that changed some of the, I believe, how rolls worked a little bit.
And also, they reduced the acceleration of the strong attack for the. Wow, let's first try twice. They reduced the acceleration for the. What do you call? Oh my god. Okay. I wish that I do this in my actual runs, please.
Yeah, first try for both is
insane.
Not the most common thing. It's really good for the run. So, very good job.
Like I said, I was having a mild panic attack earlier because I was worried about getting these skips, and that railing, honestly, it looks like, I'm on it, but I'm moving very slow because it is itty bitty, like it is super tiny, and just like the slightest movements really mess it up. And I play on controller. Mouse and keyboard obviously has its advantages with being like very direct and like precise, I guess, at the end of the day. But yeah, you really do need mouse and keyboard for that setup. So if you are a console player, like it saves 8 minutes, but you just have to go through the ceramic manor to try and like actually go through it normally. It's not a huge deal. You get to play the game more. That's not a bad thing in my opinion. But yeah, it's the mouse and keyboard really just makes it work at the end of the day.
Unfortunately, the lineups are like that precise where you're not really able to, unless you are the best gamer in the world.
Like
do
somehow
super accurate joystick sort of stuff. But, this adverse fight's a lot more chill. I mean, we're already through the last phase. The last enemy does a series of attacks and then will shield themselves whenever they get close to you, and you have to break their shield. So usually it's better just to like kind of let them hang out and do nothing and kill everyone else, and then you can just focus on them pretty easily.
Yep.
He does shoot a projectile, and you can do a charge attack or something else to kind of deflect it out. Though it doesn't look like he's doing that here.
Yeah, he didn't do the projectile, which kind of sucks. So like Bullets is saying, we try to reflect projectiles as much as we can because that actually does double damage back once you return it. And then if you do a strong attack, it does basically quadruple damage, which is kind of crazy. So we try to do that as much as we can. But that enemy just kind of sits there and lets you do it. So that's why I would want to do a strong attack. Usually I don't have enough time.
You can get a very specific spot, and you can hit him with the charge attack and the projectile that's hit by the charge attack at the same time, which basically takes away most of his health in one hit. So. Yeah.
Kind of crazy,
but he's dead, so
yeah, we don't got to worry about that.
So the reason we don't quit out to main menu like we do in other skips is actually if you quit out to main menu here, you just stay here. You come back and you're here, and there's still the gates in the way.
Yep.
Actually, we have the fire spell, so we could get past them, but like it's a pain. So this teleports is actually back to the door.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that like not quitting out here doesn't return you to the door, but like dying does. It's weird. So yeah, so now we're back to Castle Lockstone, as you can see in the bottom right, which is like the again, like the introductory third area. A lot of the introductory areas are just mostly puzzles for the most part, and we basically are able, because we have the hookshot spell, which you were supposed to unlock after doing some of these portions, we're able just to skip all the fights and kind of just run through the area. So it's pretty nice. Takes some time, but now we're going through, as I kind of mentioned earlier, a reverse boss order or reverse area order because of the boss health. It's just faster to do it that way. And the more spells we have, the faster we're able to do everything. So that's a great Zumi. So every time we light one of these, I guess, pyres or braziers, we quit out real quick, and then it just teleports us back. And so there would be like this animation of like the ground, like adjusting. I like to think of this as like the forest temple, basically, in Ocarina of Time, because you're lighting these 4 fires to go through and unlock an elevator, which instead of going down is going to make us go up. And that was such a great zoomie, but I ran on a corner. Dang it. All right.
That's the unfortunate thing with zoomies is that angle you're locked into until you roll out of it. So if you get a really fast zoomie, but your angle's off, you have to roll out of it and cancel it. So it's really unfortunate when that happens.
Mm-hmm. In 1.0, which is sort of another popular category, the acceleration was so high on the daggers that you could like basically launch yourself off of things to do stuff. So that the devs like consistently lowered the amount of what do you call it? The acceleration, so that so it's harder to get zoomies overall, like good ones. But like it's still good enough that like it's not a big deal basically.
Yeah. Anytime you do a few rolls, it's better just to do that. That was a very good arc around there. It's a little bit awkward cutting that corner like that, but it saves a few seconds. It's a smaller skip, but yeah, definitely a good one to go for.
Yeah, so you can see
another arc. Yeah,
we were just arcing everywhere, skipping all the things. That was really
this area
close.
in general, especially once we get past the introductory area, there's a lot of arcing, but it gets a lot scarier later on. So right now it's pretty chill. But yeah.
So we haven't mentioned the scariest thing about arcs. So if they seem like nice, and it's like, why wouldn't you just do them everywhere? Mostly the biggest drawback is that the actual so if you arc over a void, so like where I'm at right now, there's a big old just empty space. If you arc over a void, it hard locks you because you get stuck in the animation of like I don't know, you just get stuck basically, and you have to Alt F4 out of the game to I guess it's technically a soft lock, not a hard lock, but it's a soft lock where you actually have to Alt F4 out of the game to be able to reset myself. So coming up in the next area, there's a like 3 or 4 arcs in a row that are over voids. So hopefully, I forgot to quit out, dang it. So we get to see, we actually, you don't quit out of 2 of these, you quit out of the first one and the last one, and now we get to see the entire animation of, like, I haven't seen this animation since I, like, played this game casually, basically. But yeah.
If you don't do this, you just see nothing. It just doesn't show anything, but it's very long and awkward.
Yeah.
It just stays there for like a very long time.
The elevator is just there, all but lit. You're like, what am I waiting on? And it's like, nope. Yeah. But yeah. So now we're coming up to, I guess, the old Watch Terrace area. We get some lore exposition here that is way out of place because we haven't done anything else in the game. It's kind of funny, actually. Yeah, so we get some lore exposition from other crows about, like, our job, basically. We also didn't mention that we skipped meeting the Grey Crow earlier, who was like name drop in the game and all this other stuff. Like, we just skipped basically so much stuff. So, like, honestly, if you want to know more about this game, just like 100%, like, you will learn nothing from this except that I am beating things up and being a bad crow.
Yeah, you're supposed to see Death's Door within the first, like, 10-20 minutes of playing, and we will not see it until the last, like, 10 minutes of the run.
Yeah.
If that. So
it's kind of crazy. But yeah, so we skip. Oh, good.
We will not see, like, one of the only other main characters of the game as well, Grey Crow, until the end of the game as well, even though we're doing stuff for him right now.
Yeah.
We've just decided on our own volition to just go beat up these guys for funsies.
Yeah. We are on this game is a giant fetch quest that's not a fetch quest, I guess, at the end of the day. So we met a crow there who's like, hey, man, our boss kind of sucks, and we, the world is in disarray because there's not death and things are getting too old and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, so we don't really care. We're just here to, kick butt and take names, more or less. I'm all out of gum, to say the least. So now we're on the old watchtowers. This is like the spookiest part of the run because of the voids that I mentioned. So
pretty much every arc you do here is over a void.
Yeah.
There's not a safe arc this entire time.
Yep.
So
this part used to be great because you could just run up one of these walls and hook shot over here. So we kind of circumvent that by doing an arc. Just 2 arc. It used to be just a free section, but now we have to arc into an arc. So yeah, this is the scariest. That's not far enough up. Right.
Getting the right position there so that you have enough height when you hit it that you don't just fall down.
Yeah.
And then enough distance that you actually make it there too.
I love killing that whiz like that because it is just a nightmare of an enemy to deal with later.
Yeah, if you ignore the wizard, they will continually keep teleporting and following you. And while you're trying to do this last arc here, it's such a pain.
Yeah. Admittedly, let's go. All right, first round. Whew, okay.
That arc is incredibly scary and always pretty precise to do. So
this is like the scariest arena in the game. So now we actually have to fight through an arena, which we barely ever have to do. Hello. And this is a very scary arena just because the ice and the enemies that you fight here are very just tedious at the end of the day. And so you can see, like, I like arcing, or I like hookshotting around, but
yeah, hookshotting around on the ice can
very
just
scary.
slide you past the thing you're trying to hit.
Yeah.
The basic enemies actually become kind of dangerous in this area because when they're on the ice and they do their attacks, like they'll start sliding towards you and they'll just rocket across. So it's very easy to like have just one of them come out of nowhere.
Yeah,
and just take you down.
Honestly, ganking enemies is just a huge problem in this game. Like, they can just run up on you. They can hyper armor through a lot of things. This is not good. I do not like this, Sam. I am. All right. But yeah, the enemies can just run up on you and absolutely gank squad you, and just absolutely ruin your day. And you just kind of caught up in this thing where you just like keep getting hit. And like I said, like this area is
Getting this
so
far
awkward.
without taking damage is really good, though.
Oh,
the
wow,
last
yeah.
two enemies here can be a little annoying sometimes.
There you go.
Yeah.
That guy just tanked through a hit.
Especially on the ice. Yep, they can do 1 or 2 hits, and there's not really a reason for it. Once you get in range, they will do 1 or 2 hits, and you have to either roll to dodge or do something else to get out of their range. Sometimes I've had them swing for no reason.
Yeah,
Like they just have felt like it as I'm about to hook shot to them.
Mm-hmm. And they like their hitboxes are insane. Like it extends like half of like their like full, I guess, not animation, but like their like it is way farther past their hammers. Those are the worst enemies in the game by far. They are extremely tough to deal with.
Thankfully, this is the only time you fight them during the run. They're like everywhere. During the game.
Yeah, like they really ruin your day when you're doing a casual playthrough, which is kind of nutty. So I'm just resetting to get some health back because this boss is kind of nuts. Another a throwback to Titan Souls. This is Betty the Yeti. So if you've played Titan Souls, know the Yeti boss. Very similar, basically the same boss. Oh, what? All right. Wow, this is just bad.
So.
Right.
Betty's normal attacks aren't too complicated, but the timing for it and making sure you're getting damage in while still dodging the attacks is really important because Betty also has other attacks like the rolling attack that we'll see pretty soon where you can't really do much damage during it. You just have to dodge precisely as well, so you want to get as much damage as you can during that. During these rolls, you have to roll kind of perpendicular to Betty to avoid getting hit. If you roll a little bit too alongside where she's going, you'll just get hit alongside her and kind of have to eat that damage.
Mm-hmm.
We are getting to the part of the fight where Betty will start dropping snowballs. It's sometimes hard to see where the shadows are for where those are dropping, but
yeah, that was
you can
actually
die
a pretty
after the
quick
fight with the snowballs.
You can die. Yeah, you can die from random snowballs in the fight, and then you have to redo the entire fight, even though you killed the boss. And it's just like, it's so terrible, but it's so fun. It's absolutely brutal, but it's great. Yeah, that was Betty. I did a quick.
I was gonna say
cut.
I was gonna say I actually had that happen to me in my casual run.
No, that's so terrible. Yeah, so now we're actually going to get some like lore exposition about the game. We're going to go, because we killed the boss, we've hit a checkpoint where it's like, oh hey, you should actually go meet the Lord of not the, some random person who was your boss. Let's just say that. So, also great character. The what's the best way to say this? The character in this game, like, not the characters, well, the characters are great, but like the actual, like, this game itself has so much character and just it's so much fun to play because everything is just sort of like, you know, it's like very British humor and I love that. But yeah, this is Lord of Doors. He's our boss, I guess. He tells us like, hey, you know, did you just kill something that's kind of crazy? You got beaks. That's pretty cool. This is a little bit of a tense moment because it's like, you probably want something for doing that, huh? Like some sort of reward. And he just claps for us. That's pretty great.
The reason we're spinning during this is because if you do an arc into a cutscene, your character still has all that momentum and doesn't really know what to do.
Yeah, it just makes
trying to go back to that center spot, but it keeps moving, and the game's like, stay. Yeah. What are you doing?
That's the only time that we would like in an actual run. It's good to do that because I want to zoomy into that cutscene to be fast. And so we get back and they're like, hey, you didn't get your giant soul because we learned that the gray crow that bonked us on the head earlier took it and we can't get it back. So we're just like, okay, whatever. I don't care. Chandler the handler. And we go from there. But yeah, one thing I didn't mention earlier. So I did a weird roll with a weapon switch right before Betty. That is the only time I'm going to do that, simply because Betty is like a weird boss where I'm going to be rolling the entire time through it to avoid her attacks. So it's like the other bosses is just not useful to do. So that's the only time I do it. It adds extra damage because it gives you a free... If you do that specific set of animation, it gives you an extra attack after you roll, which is just really odd. Oops, wrong button. I play a lot of different games, and the square and or X button is pick up in some of them. And I'm mixing up my own stuff. I was like, wait a minute, wrong button. But yeah, so now we're going into the second area, which is going to be what's this place called actually? Like the swamp? It's just a swamp area because it's a Souls-like and we need swamps. So the
reason we don't really know the name of the area is because we don't spend a lot of time in this introductory area. This is like where we spend the least amount of time, and other than the third area where we just actually we don't skip it entirely, but we spend so little time here.
Yeah.
And it's not even like we're gonna do a really difficult or elaborate skip to get around it. Normally in this area you have a bomb spell. Bomb spells let you break rocks, including the one at the end of the ruins area here that takes you to the next proper area where the boss is located. But we're never going to get that spell, so it's like, how are we going to get past the rock wall? Well, if we go on the out-of-bounds seam here of the first portion of the area, there's a huge section of ceiling here, and the ruins is below us right now. And if we go to a specific spot and do a zoomy, we actually drop into the room that's below it. Which we'll see in just a moment here.
Oh, and we get to talk to the Frog King. Yeah, great.
Depending on your angle, sometimes the Frog King will say hi.
Yeah, so we skip basically, I would say that's my least favorite part of the game. The Mushroom Dungeon just kind of sucks. It's tough. There's a lot of those hammer enemies. It's just long. And it's having this skip here is absolutely amazing. So now we're just going through the first portion of the Flooded Fortress, which is just kind of like a waltz through the a waltz around the water, more or less.
Yeah, the most dangerous thing here is accidentally not paying attention for a second and falling off, which happens very often.
Yeah, a lot more than you would think. But yeah. So. So we get our swamp area. It's kind of showing us that hey, if you hit these things, it restores platforms for you. Blah blah blah. That will be useful later. It's going to be on the test that we're going to give you, or the quiz, excuse me, not a test that we're going to give after the run. So pay good attention to that.
This might be a good time for any donations or announcements if you have any.
Yeah.
No new donations. I believe we're still trying to get that $20 to get the umbrella only for the rest of the bosses, although I'm pretty sure we're getting a little late on that. So
there's still Oh, sorry. Keep going.
I know that there's Lord of Doors, there's Grey Crow, there's Grandma, so we still have a little bit of ways to go, but we also have Play Gold Rush and Beat Mania as an incentive, save the Decora in Super Metroid, change all the text that you see right underneath Foxy's camera to Comic Sans, and there's also a couple of bid wars that you can donate to. We've already raised $840. We're only $160 away from hitting our goal, which is absolutely insane. And if we hit our goal before the marathon ends, we have secret milestones that will be announced.
Yeah, nice. If we can get up to 900, that would actually be amazing in this run. I'm kind of being a little bit facetious and hoping people will love me enough, but hey, not everybody loves me that much. But
the final 2 bosses are incredibly difficult. So if you're worried about getting value out of the $20 for it, it's like, oh, the run's already been going. We've already killed a couple bosses. The worst is yet to come, and doing Grey Crow and Lord of Doors with only the umbrella is very challenging to do. But Foxy is pretty good at gaming, so if you want to see that.
I game all right sometimes. How did I roll off? No. What?
So Flooded Fortress sucks, by the way.
Oh yeah, this area sucks.
Flooded Fortress, since we do not have the bombs, we have to do a ton of different skips. Thankfully, the arcs we do are safe in the way that we only take a hit of damage for. We won't just soft lock. But also, we have to do a bunch of them, and they're fairly precise, and there's a lot of enemies usually attacking us during it.
Yeah, so we're kind of just like bobbing and weaving, good boxing style. Oh, all right, that's a scary arc, honestly.
Kip's having to blow some stuff up and having to do some fights as well. Like before, if you remember, we're going to use this archer here to pop ourselves up to avoid that little rock wall you see there that we can't blow up.
Yep.
So it works out really conveniently for us.
There, you can actually, get into, or like hookshot your way onto that archer that I was very close to. But it's a little bit finicky. It's not always in the best spot. So really, okay. And so this is another like awkward section where, oh dang it! All right, charging spells is also an awkward thing to do because you're so used to just you just want to be really quick, and so sometimes you're just too fast. And I'm like trying to talk and forgetting what I'm doing. So this is I
can take over.
Thank you
for this section. So the wizards here teleport randomly based on where you're standing. They'll teleport really anywhere that's not a solid object because they can float over things. We want the wizards to float over near where that button is, because if we hit them with a fireball, they'll get angry, or they'll kind of be offended by us and like go backwards, as you'll see here. And then if you hook shot to them, it drags you across this other side, and you're able to skip this portion as well. But yeah, so that takes us over to this portion, and will allow us to skip pretty much the rest of it at this point, and get our way to the arena over here. It's good to clean up the wizards after this point, which I think they're all dead at this point, it looks like, so we're able to just do it pretty cleanly. This is the reason we picked up the life seed at the beginning, because you're just bound to take so much damage from random things during this that having it in your pocket to use during the arena fight is pretty important. To not even like as a safety strat or anything. This is just the strat we use because it's a really difficult area, and failing arcs or getting hit randomly for something will happen no matter what. No matter how Foxy is the record holder for this game, and all three of us, top 3 runners, we all take damage here because
it's impossible to not take damage here. It's so. Like I said, the gank squattiness of all of these enemies is just absolutely insane, and you get clipped by so much. That enemy just was 100% ready to jump on top of me and ruin my day.
To go fast and to not take damage are 2 things that do not work out very well for this section specifically.
Yeah. So that was it. So that's the second arena that we have to do. And
no death, no unintentional deaths so far. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so that's actually huge. So we're actually, because I'm not using the umbrella, we get to see this fight all the way through. It's how it's intended because I do enough damage to be able to do it. So this is the Frog King. Bullets, I don't know if you have it pulled up, what his introduction is, but it's, he's King of Swamp Guardian of the Flooded Fortress.
King of Swamp Guardian of the Flooded Fortress, Lord of the Domain, ruler of all surveys, champion of the people, keeper of the 5 votes. First his name, second the other name. Who, without the middle initial or mercy destroyer of all, the question is okay. That's about as far as I got.
Yeah,
there's so
much.
I don't think I've actually properly read through all of that.
Yeah, it's actually so funny. But oh wow, this is bad. Oh wow, that worked out. So we're able to basically skip through the Frog King by the first phase is just taking off his armor, and then he turns into a giant frog, and then go through that. So now that that's done, it's basically just a little bit of not a scripted fight, but
we'll keep doing the same 2 attacks until he's dead.
Yeah.
he'll tilt you down here and try to absorb you in. If you stand in a specific spot and attack away from him, you can get enough momentum from your attacks to not fall. And then the second attack here, he will throw bombs at us and destroy whatever tile we're on, or the tile we're nearest in this case, since we're along the edge. But we can attack him during this just by staying along the edge. Eventually, he will just drop bombs on us once he's run out of tiles. He'll just drop it on the side there.
Yeah, that was a bit weird because usually he would drop bombs on himself, and that actually is really good for damage output because he's hurting himself and he actually takes damage from it. So one thing I learned from doing, so I actually did an Umbrella only melee run for a different marathon a few weeks ago, and very scary. But I also learned that I thought that the Umbrella and the sword were basically the same like weapon. They did the same like. Not the same damage, but like had the same range, like rolls and stuff like that. But actually, you roll less far with the Umbrella, which really sucks with Betty. And then also, you don't get one thing that made that first section work with the frog king, excuse me, is that he by swinging the sword, I get enough like momentum to move me forward a little bit, and so I avoid like falling in and being sucked into him basically, whereas the Umbrella doesn't have that. So I can't actually go through and do that. Another like just quick thing that I'll mention here, if you see me like quit out and go into a door, you like notice I'm like walking into it. That's just an instant way for me to walk into a door, or like to insta-load a door without actually having to wait through the animation of standing there and waiting for the door to open, as you'll see here. So just a quick little like time save. So picked up another strength upgrade because strength is all we need. We're gonna go through here and unlock these two braziers. It's super nice. Now we get to skip the entire ceramic manor, and the only thing we need to go get is a single key because there's an extra little like what's the word? Like checkpoint, I guess, that you need to have done some of the ceramic manor to be able to get into the lower section of it. So just like some of these braziers, you shouldn't have the flame spell at this point, so we're literally just skipping all of the pieces that we need to do for it. And we're gonna go down into the furnace where Grandma is.
If you don't remember, this is the first area that we went to before when we initially got the hook shot. So we have done everything in the reverse order. We beat the third boss, and now we're beating the second, or you already beat the second boss, and now we're going to the first boss, or the first of the three bosses that you need to kill for their giant souls. So, and you would think that would make this area like really easy and kind of a throwaway, but it's actually kind of easy if stuff goes wrong for it to go pretty wrong for this area. There's not so much skip-wise, other than kind of optimizing the zoomies you do and going through. There's a few little skips here and there, but mainly it's about progressing through these areas efficiently as possible, not getting in fights for too long, kind of avoiding enemies.
Yep. And there we see Pothead in some green goo slime that so Pothead, we learned that his grandma is like, he basically trying to what's the best way to say this? Basically, all of the bosses in this game are like overdue for death, basically, and have lived too long, and are trying to find a way to like cheat death, more or less. And so we learn here that like Grandma lost her husband and some other family members to death, and is trying to cheat it, basically. And so Pothead was trying to like stop her and like be like, hey, this isn't right. We should like dying is okay. This game has a lot of like good what's the word like. Ways of like beings, and also like ways of like accepting death and grief, more or less. It's kind of like the theme of the game, more or less, is that sort of thing. But yeah, so it's honestly this game got nominated for Game of the Year for the indie category for at least the Game Awards and a few other things. And honestly, it's probably my Game of the Year personally. I've had so much fun playing this game just in general. It's just a lot of like, the gameplay is amazing. The characters are great. The music is also just like beyond amazing. So it's just like I have nothing but good things to say about this game, and it's just the right, like, for $20 on Steam, like you really can't beat this.
There's a ton of post-game stuff too that we won't get to see. There's so many collectibles and other things that like areas we don't even touch during the run. So it's great. It's a lot of fun. Really good time.
Yeah. So Like Bullet said, we're just kind of running through this area as quickly as we can and efficiently as we can. Like I said, the gank squad enemies here. What, that was weird. I like actually hit like the furnace.
Furnaces are kind of funky in general, honestly, with their hitboxes for hitting into fire.
Yeah. You get really lucky sometimes, and sometimes you just get really unlucky. So not much you can really do about it. So. Yeah.
The area thankfully has a lot of long straightaways for zoomies and just generally a lot of times you can do that to kind of speed things up. But
yeah, there's a lot of good movement in this area and section, and it's super convenient to have the hook shot because you can just kind of.
This is one of the scary areas.
Yeah, this part is terrifying.
You have to run over here with this furnace, and you really want to kind of avoid killing the enemies here just because it takes a lot of time. And there's also odd enemies running at you that will explode on impact. And sometimes they can even run across to the cart that we go on, and they can hit it, and it will knock the cart to the other side.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just a lot going on in this section. And just like managing all of it at once is really, I think that's the hardest part of this game.
There's a lot happening on the screen right now. Yeah.
Like, honestly, just being able to manage and understand like what is in front of you is probably the toughest part of this game. Honestly, like, yeah, the bosses are hard and the bosses are cool and you gotta like learn them and all this other sort of stuff, but like just managing just the entire groups of enemies that you're going through is just an absolute like that shows how good you are at the game, basically. So all right, I'm up to the last section where there's 3 furnaces in a row, and hopefully I can snipe them pretty great if I'm a true gamer. Oh, look at that. Gamer mode activated. All right. Not doing zoomies here because I just don't feel like pressing start and going.
Yeah, the zoomies, since it does a bunch of pausing, it wears on your thumb pretty quick. So.
Yeah, it takes a lot out of you. Yeah. And we're going through this little area. One cool thing to mention is that if you notice these little platforms, they're actually going in time with the music to the beat. That's something that somebody pointed out to me when I was doing runs, and I was like, oh, wow, that's actually kind of amazing. So, all right. We're coming up to the last section here. I am not going to quit out. Just going to see how we do. I shouldn't take too much damage. It's a fun thing to watch how quickly we melt Grandma here. It's absolutely, like, crazy, honestly. So Grandma's very upset that we just keep coming back. Groans calls us a little shit, canonically. And then, so we go fight her. There's a section of this fight where the projectiles are going to be coming to, like, really, like, it's going to be huge. So I'm just going to shut up while I do this fight.
Yeah, so there's 2 different kinds of projectile, or 2 different kinds of pots. We have the purple ones, which explode on impact, which can hurt Grandma. And then the kind of greenish ones, which put a ball projectile in there, which also can hit Grandma if you hit her with it, but a little bit harder to aim at her. The auto-targeting is a little bit less generous for this fight, but it does a bunch of damage when you can get it.
And we have like almost max strength, so we are absolutely melting her HP right now.
So she will only make it one phase. And just deflecting some projectiles and very easy fight.
Yeah, so it goes so fast. Yeah, wow. What you can actually do, if you get those green projectiles well enough and actually hit her enough, you can make it so that basically by your first charge attack, you can insta-kill her when she does that like rotating thing in her pot, which is kind of nutty. It's great. It's so like rewarding when you do that, honestly. And one thing we haven't mentioned, this is Steadhone the Gravedigger. He always gives a eulogy for each of the bosses that we kill. He's somehow immortal and just kind of chilling out. We never meet him because we skip the first section in the graveyard, so it doesn't actually, you know, like do anything, I guess. But yeah, so we're actually on a pretty good pace right now, honestly. Like no intentional deaths. Got most of the skips first try. Like this is a pretty solid run overall. Like my zoomies haven't been great overall, but I mean I will take this at the end of the day.
So we're moving into the ending portion of the game. So we've gotten the 3 giant souls, which is kind of the main task we've been trying to do. So once we get to this point, we're into the portion of the game where getting towards the end and getting to fight the final two real challenges of the run. This might be a good time. Sneak in any donations or announcements. We have any? While the lore is being presented to us.
Yeah, while we're getting expositioned. Yeah. So this is the first time we meet the Great Crow too, and this is the first time we see that store. He just kind of shows up, and it's just like, oh hey, you did it, little crow, even though I never told you what you were doing in the first place. So yeah, Any announcements or anything?
So not yet. No new donations, no anything like that. So, but yeah, let me guess. I remind everyone why we're here. We're raising money. Every dollar donated removes 1 pound of trash from the ocean. So we have removed effectively 840 pounds of trash from the ocean, which is amazing. Like, I did not think we were going to get this far. I really, really appreciate it. I think this marathon is a success. Obviously, if we got to the $1,000 goal, it would even be a larger success, and I would be the happiest person in the world. So please, if you have a dollar, if you have a couple of dollars, go donate. It's going to a good cause, and we're going to keep doing this. We're going to keep doing this every year.
Great, yeah. Getting more, like, we need to treat our seas well, because life and stuff, so. Please donate, guys. Really appreciate it. Yeah, so we're getting lore exposition here. Basically, we learned that the death was sealed away by the Lord of Doors in kind of like a bait and switch, more or less, because Death kind of got tired of killing people. It was really sad, and the Lord of Doors was like, hey, I'll take that over for you. Just let me create this door for you where you can hide out and we can send souls to, basically. And Death got trapped by the first Lord of Doors, and we learned that kind of earlier that we are on currently the fourth Lord of Doors, who basically gave up the notion that they were going to be killing, like, keeping the crows around to reap souls, basically. So that's why we're going to get this rampant giant souls and those sorts of things. And so we're releasing Death now. And so the main thing we learned here is that the Great Crow was assigned a soul a long time ago, and basically couldn't find the soul because it never actually existed in the first place, and because they're hundreds of years old, now they kind of hit their expiry date and they go nuts, and so we have to put them out of their misery, sort of, basically. So
hey, did we receive any $20 donations in the last 5 seconds, potentially?
Yeah.
Potentially.
Please no. This fight is terrible.
Asking for a friend.
Oh no. This is honestly
so
the
we
worst fight
have
in the
a
game.
$20 donation to go towards the umbrella. So go pick up that umbrella, Foxy. That's coming from Is Bullets.
Thanks, Bullets.
Yeah,
I'll do this. I'll do this just for you. Switch mid fight. This is kind of, and I've already got 2 damage
on the 2 HP as well. Yeah. Well, actually, I've done this fight on Umbrella because my first playthrough was Umbrella. Yeah. There's an achievement for doing the entire game without switching off the umbrella. If you hit anything with an umbrella ever, or anything without an umbrella ever, you can no longer do the achievement. So yeah, a little taste of it now.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I have a lot of strength upgrades, but still are damaged.
Stop, please.
These crowheads that spawn can, every time you hit the gray crow, a crowhead will spawn, which are the black funky dudes running around. But
I'm dead.
They can just sometimes drop on your head and just cause drama for no reason.
Yeah, they spawn randomly, and so like trying to hit the crow and also avoid them at the same time is kind of just an absolute nightmare.
For sure.
And so this, with min health and also I guess now min damage, this fight just takes so long.
Yeah.
And so I'm being really cautious, actually, because the crow itself does this thing where, like, after you hit him... Oh, no. No bueno. Or once you do a hookshot attack, he, like, runs at you a little bit, and if you do that too quickly, he charges at you, and you have a bad time, to say the least. No! Please stop. Oh. I didn't ask for this.
We're seeing a few of the later attacks. We usually don't see too many of them for too long. But you usually see like, each of them.
Oh, he's dead.
Okay. Very nice.
Thank you.
Very nice job. First try on it with half health when you swap to it.
When it swapped Umbrella did.
Yeah. But yeah, Great Crow, one of the more challenging fights in the game. One of my favorite fights.
I hate it. Like, I guess I
feel very different about the fight.
I love to hate it. Let's say that. Like, it's a fun fight and it's very unique, and like all the bosses in this game are so well done in the sense that they're all like, you know, they're their own independent thing. But yeah, it's kind of nutty. I'm gonna switch to the sword for this because going through this area rolling really sucks. But I will do the fights with the umbrella.
Yeah, no worries. I usually switch like dagger and do some zoomies and shenanigans. But
Shenanigans, yeah.
yeah.
Right.
So the last fight was kind of a lot of chaos, but like fighting the same, fighting Grey Crow the entire time. This fight's a little bit different. It's more of kind of a gauntlet of the past areas we've been through.
And haven't been through.
Yeah, haven't seen it all, really. But yeah, the Lord of Doors kind of starts using the different attacks from the bosses we've fought previously in different areas. So it's kind of a cool medley of things you've already seen, and then a lot of new stuff that he throws in. So it's a really cool fight from that perspective.
Yeah.
Very challenging. It's in two different parts, so we'll see the first kind of gauntlet portion of it here, where if you die any portion during it, you have to go to the beginning of it.
Yeah, there are checkpoints. Yeah, there are checkpoints, but not a lot.
There's the main one is after you've beaten all these, it'll take you back to the hub, but we'll see that in a little bit. But after a certain amount of hits in each of these areas, the Lord will peace out for a bit, and we have to chase after him. So this attack has a pretty easy, safe spot, a little chill portion to go to with our umbrella. So.
Yeah, he also spawns doors that are bolts that run you down. So, all right. So now we're in the gauntlet portion. You get like these rolls are so slow. I'm going nowhere. All right, I'm gonna switch over to the. I'd like to go at least a little bit fast and not waste some time here. So.
You only have to hit him during the actual arena sections. The gauntlet section, he just floats along and taunts you.
Yeah.
Pretty much it.
He does finger guns at you and just shows you how much of a cool dude he is.
Yeah, there's some small optimizations with skipping some of the stuff or minimizing the time we're dodging these things, but for the most part, it's just getting through. You really do not want to take damage between the fights.
Yeah.
Because you do have to do a bunch of them, and taking any bits of damage can really chip away.
Yeah, we do so much damage here usually that like you would barely see any.
He'd be gone now.
Yeah,
I would have that last potion at the ground.
Yeah, I would have deleted him. But because we're using the umbrella, I can't just control alt delete him out of existence basically. So yeah.
Another little intermission area here. Sneaking by. Actually, no, you can sneak by on the right side there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Like the doors are just like for some reason you don't take damage with the actual doors themselves, which is as long as you roll through the door section, it's fine. So I'm actually really surprised, Bullets, that you do like that portion with zoomies, because that would just terrify me.
Yeah, it's scary, but so is the game.
Yeah, so the game is in general.
Yeah, so you can sneak these little hits in. The boss has kind of some basic combo attacks that he does, but you can manipulate some of them based on where you're standing. Does normal sort of jumping, punching attacks if you're in front of him, and does kind of backhands if you're standing behind him. So you can use that to your advantage if you want him to do a certain attack. Yeah,
the backhand is really nice actually because it's a really quick attack animation and you can get a lot of hits in. So I like it quite a bit.
It's really nice, consistent sort of 2 hits and then roll, and it's a nice rhythm to get into. It's pretty easy to learn.
The rhythm of the fight is really good. So,
all right, we're back to the Betty Arena again.
The only arena that we've really seen before.
Yeah, so we're gonna see the rolling attack again. We're gonna see a decent bit more of it than you usually do. I actually thought he did more than one roll in a sequence.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I always forget that he only does one roll.
After the first roll, he just usually goes and leaves for a little bit.
Here, forgot about that. All right. Yep.
One more walking section, and then we are to the end of the gauntlet and the start of the proper sort of mono boss fight with the last Lord of Doors.
Describing it as mono is like perfect.
So he's going to use all the stuff he's used here, all the different attacks, some new ones as well. And generally, this is going to be whole just kind of capstone to all the stuff that we've interacted with the game at this point. So it's a really nice send off for the end of the game. Time will end on the final hit. There'll be a large flash on the screen, and then fight will be over, but we'll let you know.
Thank you for that. Every marathon I'm in, I always forget. Like, I'm in this fight, I'm like in the zone.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh wait, that's time, huh?
Yeah.
Time will be at the white flash, basically at the end. He says some metal stuff because I will never die. Absorbs like the power from where we were getting our souls from, or like our upgrades from. And then the music in this portion is absolutely amazing. The music in this game is just kicks absolute butt. So I highly recommend. Like, it's on Spotify and it's like everywhere basically. So go listen to it. Go play this game.
Would you like me to commentate through this, or would you like just let the music play and
feel free to commentate?
All right. So basic attack from the beginning here. There's a few things that you can do, but we're doing the potion attack here, which will just target wherever you're standing. Just kind of goes back to normal combos after that. The clapping, we didn't really see this. It's in the upgrade fights where it'll freeze you in place and you have to mash to get out of it. But we're again going to abuse the backhands there to get him to lock into those animations and get those easy hits. Using the laser beam there, getting hit by the laser beam or rolling through the laser beam allows you to cancel that attack early. But yeah, there's just a lot of different attacks going on, a lot to pay attention to, especially when you're being attacked by him and he's got a second attack going at the same time. So definitely not easy to keep track of everything. But it also has this attack which we already saw before with the flooded fortress arena area. But we're also going to see another attack eventually where he will...
No, I'm dead! Oh, God, I'm dead.
This attack where he explodes. If it catches you off guard, yeah, you can hook shot into it after it's exploded, because the hurt box lasts for just a little bit longer than you
call it the hurt box.
Yeah, you got hit boxes, you got hurt boxes.
Oh, yeah, that's a big old hurt.
Either hit box or hurt box.
It's a very large hurt box. And it's the only time we'll see this attack. So he only does the roll attack if you're like really far away from him.
So you almost never see it during fights unless you die and have to walk up to him again. Okay. I mean, that was still really good with the umbrella, but now you're all familiar with a lot of these different attacks. There's a little bit of a pattern to how the fight starts, but there's some variance in what moves you can choose to do, and so that. Again, just laser beam again to avoid it and then roll through it. To take no damage, but cancel the attack, which speeds up the fight because he's untargetable at that point.
Yep.
And lots of hits in.
Now it's just a rinse and repeat, basically.
Yeah, it's tough to do this with the umbrella when you're used to the sword, because there's kind of a general flow of the fight, and you're used to like timings for stuff, and like when he's gonna die.
Yeah.
It takes twice as long now, so you have to kind of adjust your brain. So being able to do that for this fight especially is really impressive. So
just draws it out so much.
Yeah, for sure.
When you're just like you're focusing so hard and have been focusing for such a long time.
Yeah. So focused on trying to sneak damage in, and then like he can just do the exploding attack he did, and you have to immediately run away. It can be easy to get caught off guard by it. Yeah, time will be coming up soon.
Dang it. Yep. So as you can tell, probably with other bosses, like they get like cracked. Stop. As they take damage, so he's really close to dying. I just have really no idea how long it's gonna take.
Pretty much there.
Yeah, we're basically there. He's probably gonna be dead in like 4 or 5 more hits. Okay, make that like 10, maybe 20. I don't know. I literally have no idea.
Wow, he's just
there. It is. All right, that's time.
There we go. Very nice job.
Thank you, and thank you for the donation bullets, making me have to deal with Grey Crow. And I'm surprised I didn't die on Grey Crow. Honestly, that was
Grey Crow was very cool. It's a very good job.
Yeah, it's a good show. Thank you very much. Yeah,
obviously.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say,
thank you for making it happen.
Yeah.
We do have a little bit of time, so can probably talk very briefly about if you are interested in this run. Obviously, if you're interested in the game, go buy the game. Game's $20. It's one of the best indie games I've played in a long while, and I've played way too many games. We do have a Discord for learning the speedrun if you're interested in this or 1.0. Either category. There's plenty of people in there that will answer any questions, and they're happy to teach somebody. But yeah. Foxy's awesome also as well. So
Thank you. Yeah,
give Foxy lots of love.
I think I'm pretty cool. But yeah, like Will said, the Discord is kind of hopping. There's a few people that like actively, are still glitch hunting and searching for different skips and stuff like that. It's pretty active. Very nice people. We'd love to have more people speedrunning the game, but right now it's kind of just me and bullets for the most part. This game is actually going to be shown. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, okay, you were about to say it. You already beat me to it.
Yeah. But yeah, I'd love to have more people running this, and then at the same time, what am I trying to say here? Discord's active. 1.0 is actually really easy to access at the end of the day. You don't have to uninstall or reinstall or anything like that. They have a tool to do it. Also, no major glitches has been kind of a hopping category too lately, so it'd be great to have this game see a lot more love and just the people that appreciate it. So like I said, FoxyJira, go follow me on Twitch. I stream sometimes. I do a lot of different games. Go follow Bullets, go follow Syneth, come follow all of us and hang out. Like to stream and have fun. So happy to be here, Sin. Really appreciate it. Donate money for Team C's guys, and hopefully back next year. So yeah, that's about it for me.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of being back next year, so I want to quickly remind everyone, so it's not next year that we're doing this again. It is Earth Day, which is April 22nd. It's a Friday. And then that Friday into that weekend, we're doing this again. So if you want to see that marathon, hang out, join the Discord, follow the channel, follow the socials. I'm going to be posting up a sign up if you want to volunteer, if you want to post a run, all that good stuff. In addition to that, I can't wait to announce this until we get to the 1,000. So we're going to announce it now. If for some reason we beat our $1,000 goal, we're going to increase the goal to $2,000. Now, if we hit that, I am dedicating an entire day on April 23rd to go clean up a beach in real life.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
And if we get to $3,000, this will turn into a week-long marathon.
Well, that'd be crazy.
That would be absolutely nuts, and I hope we get there. We have plenty of time left. We have about, 36 hours if I'm doing my math right. So we have tons of time to try and get there. So let's see if we can get there.
Let's do it. Sounds great.
All right, with that, we're going to sign off. And yeah, if you want to just wave for the camera, they'll tell me when to cut us over.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good one. And donate to Team C's, guys. Have Syneth clean up a beach.